It's good to be here and to join you for chapel. Would you join me as we go to the Lord in prayer? Father in heaven, we just sung of how holy and good you are. And now we want to see it in your word so that we would look more like your Son, that we, as we gaze upon the glory of Christ, that we would be conformed to your image from one degree of glory to another. We want to be transformed into the likeness of Jesus. So do that even now. We pray in Christ's name. Amen. Growing up, I loathed public speaking. I wonder if any of you can relate to that. I see a few nods of heads. I hated public speaking. I was a shy and quiet kid. I would rather go to the dentist than give a public presentation, and I hate going to the dentist. I see some nods. I avoided public speaking as much as I could. I never volunteered to speak. There was one time after I graduated college, I was attending a church plant, and they asked me, would you be willing to preach at this church plant? And I declined. And so imagine my surprise when I signed up for seminary, and it didn't dawn on me that when you go to seminary, they're actually training you to stand up every single week, and you would be speaking publicly every single week. The moment of crisis came in seminary. It was here, and it was in chapel, and they had just started chapel, and they used to give the preaching class an opportunity to preach in preaching class. They don't do that anymore. I think my year ruined it. But what they used to do is the preaching class would preach in chapel. And so here I was in preaching class, and in this pulpit was my very first sermon ever. I was nervous. I was fearful. I wonder if any of you can resonate. Are there certain things that God is calling you to where you feel inadequate, underqualified, ill-equipped? Well, one of my regular prayers for the graduates of Bethlehem College and Seminary is that you all would have a disproportionate impact on the world for Christ. Perhaps God is calling some of you to go overseas or into a cross-cultural context. Perhaps God is calling some of you to plant churches. Perhaps God is calling some of you to step into the secular marketplace when you graduate as a faithful Christian, where at times it looks like it's more and more difficult to do that as a faithful Christian. Perhaps God is calling you to be an evangelist or to disciple new believers or to step into leadership roles where you can influence the lives of others. Perhaps God is calling you to be faithful in the midst of significant, difficult circumstances. But in the midst of this calling, perhaps you're feeling it right now, and you can see kind of into the future. This is what I want to be. And yet, there's this very real sense of, I feel underqualified. I feel ill-equipped. I feel inadequate and weak. And sometimes you wonder, can God really use me? Because God knows everything about you, all of your weaknesses, all of your inadequacies, all of your sins, all of your background, all the ways that you struggle that no one else sees. Because when we're with each other, we put our best face forward, but in the privacy of your home, when you're all alone, you know that the doubts are there, the inadequacies are there, the weaknesses are there. And what do you do about that? You think, I have too much baggage in my past to ever be used by God. Or you think, I have too broken of a family history to ever be helpful. Or I'm just too fearful, too nervous, too anxious, too prideful, too angry to ever be used. How do we overcome feelings of inadequacy and weakness and fear? That's what I want to talk about this afternoon. As part of our chapel series on words to live by, I want to focus on Exodus 4 that shows us, that illustrates for us that God's power is perfected in weakness, that God's power is perfected in weakness. Or you could put it this way, that God uses weak and insufficient people to accomplish his glorious purposes. So the main point I want to draw out in this passage is that God has actually sovereignly ordained you and all of your weaknesses, all of your frailties. God has sovereignly ordained all of your weaknesses and inadequacies so that he can display his perfect power in order to accomplish his glorious purposes. And so we ought not to begrudge our frailties and weaknesses, but rather God uses them to display his perfect power. So turn with me to Exodus 4 if you have a Bible, and we're going to look at verses 1 through 17. And if you're unfamiliar, Exodus 4 is where Moses gets called out by God to lead the people of Israel out of slavery in Egypt. Moses, at this point in his life, thought he was done. He had spent 40 years living in Egypt, 40 years as a shepherd in Midian. At the ripe old age of 80, he's like, I'm ready to retire. And that's not what God has in store for him. He calls him out in a burning bush and calls him to go and deliver Israel from the hand of Pharaoh. And Moses wants no part of it. He gives 5 excuses in total. He gives 2 in chapter 3 and then 3 more in the passage we'll look at. The first excuse he gave was, who am I, in Exodus 3:11. I can't do this. Who am I to lead this people out? And what does God say to him? I will be with you. And then he says, well, who are you? The people aren't going to believe me when they say I've talked to a burning bush. What do I tell them? And God says, I am who I am. Tell them I am has sent you. Yahweh, the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has sent you to them. And so, that doesn't satisfy Moses, and so he has 3 more excuses for them. So look with me at Exodus 4:1. Moses answered, but behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice, for they will say, the Lord did not appear to you. So Moses is full of self-doubt. He does not believe that God can do what he said he can do. God has actually already told Moses in Exodus 3:18. He said, and they will listen to your voice, and you and the elders of Israel shall go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. And now, please let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. So not only do the elders of Israel believe, but they actually internalize it in such a way that they'll say, we've met with God, and make this request. And yet Moses doesn't believe. And so God gives Moses 3 signs. And we're going to look at each of those 3 signs. So first one we get in verses 2 to 5. The Lord said to him, what is that in your hand? He said, a staff. And he said, throw it on the ground. So he threw it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses ran from it. But the Lord said to Moses, put out your hand and catch it by the tail. So he put out his hand and caught it, and it became a staff in his hand, so that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. This sign reveals God's sovereign power over his enemies. For Moses, this was just a simple sign. It's just a staff turning into a snake. It's a magic trick. But what God was trying to signal to Moses is that this is my sovereign power over the rulers of Egypt. A cobra would have represented the national god of Egypt and the symbol for Pharaoh. It was on his crown. It was on his helmet. It was carved into statues, depicted in murals and drawings. And Pharaoh's claim to divine power and sovereign power was depicted in a cobra. And so God's sign to Moses is an attack on the sovereign power of Pharaoh. And he says that this sign is that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has appeared to you. One of the chief ways to overcome self-doubt is to stop looking at yourself, but to lift your eyes and look at the Lord Jesus Christ, to look at God, a sovereign God who has made the heavens and the earth and everything in it. Get a bigger view of God and what he's doing in the world. Now, the second sign that he gives comes in verses 6 through 8. Look with me there. He says, again, the Lord said to him, put your hand inside your cloak. And he put his hand inside his cloak, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous, like snow. Then God said, put your hand back inside your cloak. So he put it back inside his cloak, and when he took it out, behold, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. If they will not believe you, God said, or listen to the first sign, they may believe the latter sign. So in this second sign, it points forward to how God will afflict the Egyptians with diseases and plagues during the Exodus. But this also demonstrates God's sovereign power over the body and over disease and over death. Leprosy would have been widespread and incurable in that time, requiring total seclusion from the camp. And so again, we get a picture of God's sovereign power over death and disease. The third sign, verse 9, it says, if they will not believe even these two signs or listen to your voice, you shall take some water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground, and the water that you shall take from the Nile will become blood on the dry ground. These three signs, all three of them, point to life and death. To be bitten by a snake is deadly. To have leprosy is to have a terminal illness, and now blood symbolizes God's sovereign power over life and death. In Egypt, Nile is the source of life for man and animals and plants alike. And so to turn water to blood is to turn life into death. So these three signs are affronts to Pharaoh and his sovereign power. I don't know about you, but Moses is supposed to be a really comforting character in the Bible for us because he's full of mistakes, he's fearful, he doubts, and yet God uses a reluctant messenger exiled from his country, hiding in the wilderness for his glory and purposes. And so for this, for us, for doubters, for those weary, for those questioning your effectiveness or your abilities, let this be an encouragement. God's power is perfected in his weakness, in our weakness. God has given you all of your unique life experiences, both the good and the bad, in order to redeem them and to use them for his glorious purposes. God has given you all that makes you who you are, both the good and the bad, in order to redeem them and to use them for his glorious purposes. See the sovereign power of God at work in your life, and do not begrudge the weaknesses that you feel. The irony in this text is that Moses says that the people won't believe when it's actually he who doesn't believe in God. Now, I want to look at the next section here, verses 10 to 12. So the first one was, I don't have the ability. Here now he says, I don't have the skill. The first was they weren't going to believe. Now I don't have the skill. So verse 10, he says, "Oh, my Lord, I am not eloquent either in the past or since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and of tongue." So Moses basically says, I don't like public speaking. I'm not eloquent. The phrase, I'm slow of speech and of tongue, is literally, I'm dull when it comes to speaking. Moses knows that this mission is no walk in the park. It's not for the faint of heart. He's going to walk into the most powerful nation in the world, speak to the most powerful man in that most powerful nation as a complete nobody, and say, let my people go. And he has no army backing him. He has no leverage, no threat of nuclear power. He has nothing. And he's just going to ask for it. He's like, this is ridiculous. And so there's no reason that Pharaoh would listen to him. And Moses rightly doubts whether he has the skill or ability for such a task. There's a lot of speculation about, like, what does Moses mean when he says, I'm dull of tongue? It could be that he lacked confidence, so he was a nervous public speaker. His voice was prone to crack and tremble and waver in the face of scrutiny. He's shy and embarrassed. It could be that he actually just really did have a speech impediment. He stuttered, he had a stammer, he had a lisp, or maybe some suggest that Moses, after 40 years in the desert, had lost the command of the Egyptian language. Now, whatever it was a significant obstacle for Moses. And yet the issue would boil down to obedience. Would Moses listen to God? And so God responds in verse 11 with a stunning word. He says, "Who has made man's mouth? Who makes him mute or deaf or seeing or blind? Is it not I, the Lord?" Is it not I, the Lord? So when Moses says, I can't speak all that well. God, I can't go. I don't have the ability to speak to this people, to Pharaoh, to get the Israelites to be released. God says to him, it's not mainly about your abilities or your mouth or your tongue or the eloquence by which you can speak. I can use mute people. I made those who are mute. I made those who are blind. I made those who are deaf. I make those who can see, who can speak, who can listen. God says, is it not I? Am I not I the one who made heaven and earth and all that dwells within it? Why would you doubt when I can do all things? There's nothing beyond my ability or my control. Don't you see my sovereign power? And that's what God wants Moses to see. I'm sovereign and in control of all things. I can handle this. Whatever your weakness is, whatever your frailties are, whatever your inadequacies are, Moses, I can handle it. And I can use even you for my glorious purposes. In fact, I prefer to use those who recognize that they are weak without me. And for us, if you have weaknesses, frailties, limitations, even disabilities, God says to you, I want to use you in and through and because of those things for my purposes. No matter the obstacles you face, it does not limit God's ability to glorify himself through you. Our disabilities and our limitations plus God's abilities equal limitless possibilities. Did you hear that? Our disabilities and our limitations with God's abilities equal limitless possibilities. And so some of us think, well, I'm not all that impressive. I've read Jonathan Edwards, and at, 18, he wrote those resolutions. And at 18, I definitely wasn't thinking about that. And yet, God can do whatever he wants to do in and through you, despite whatever weaknesses and frailties and inadequacies that you bring to the table. If you doubt your abilities, is God not able to use them? If you have disabilities, did God not give them to you? If you have anxiety, can God not give you perfect peace? If you are weak, did God not say, my power is perfected in weakness? If you have a broken background, can God not redeem it? If you have sexual sin in your past, can God not forgive you? If you have debilitating fear, can God not make you courageous? If you are wavering in your faith, can God not strengthen your heart? If you struggle with self-doubt, can God not use broken jars of clay? In the midst of all our doubts, God says, who made you? Is it not I, the Lord? God is sovereignly in control of all things, and he promises his presence to go with his people in order to accomplish his work. We see that in verse 12. Look with me there. It says, now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall speak. This is the fourth time that God has given the command to go. It showed up in chapter 3 in verse 10, verse 16, and verse 18. God has told Moses to go to Pharaoh and to go gather the elders. And now he says, I will be with your mouth. And isn't that what Jesus says to his people? I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you. And so I imagine that God desires to use each one of you for his glory, to shine forth his glory in this world. And I don't know in what ways, but if he would tell you what the end would look like, some of us would say, well, I don't want that. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. If Moses knew the end of the story, by the way, you're going to do the Red Sea thing and then 40 years in the desert and you're going to hit the rock instead of speak to it and you're actually not going to get into the promised land. Moses said, I think I'll pass on that one. And yet he calls him to take one step forward by faith at a time. And that's what he calls each one of you to do. However he's calling you to be faithful in this season of life, he calls you to take one step forward by faith, because his presence will be with us. Jesus himself says, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you. I will go with you. We have received the indwelling power of the Holy Spirit so that we could go and carry out and be faithful in all the ways he's called us to be faithful. In Exodus 3, 11 and 12, he says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? And God responds, I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought this people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. What he's saying there is, isn't my presence enough for you? It is. So Moses was focused on the wrong thing. He was focused on his own inabilities and disabilities. And yet, in Numbers 22, what does God use? He uses a talking donkey. If he can use a talking donkey, he can use each one of us despite our inabilities and weaknesses. And so one of the realities we need to recognize is that we need to take our eyes off of ourselves and get them on God's power and presence. Take your eyes off of yourself and put them on God's power and presence. Don't mainly think about what am I able to accomplish with my abilities, but rather lift your eyes and see how God is at work in this world, and then get on board. Now, the third objection he brings is to basically please send someone else. He puts this in verse 13. And he basically says, oh, my Lord, please send someone else. This gets right to the heart of the matter. It's striking in its honesty. No more excuses. He basically just lays it right out there and says, I don't want to go. Please send someone else. Up to this point, God has been very patient with Moses, but at this point, God's anger is kindled against Moses. We see that in 14 to 16. The anger of the Lord was kindled, and he said, is there not Aaron your brother the Levite? I know that he can speak well. Behold, he is coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you both what to do. He shall speak for you to the people, and he shall be your mouth, and you shall be as God to him. So God is so gracious in that he gives Moses Aaron to help him out. Accommodation. And yet Aaron would ultimately lead Israel into creating and worshiping the golden calf. So there would be some trade-offs there. Nonetheless, God does not allow Moses' unbelief or rejection of his call to interfere with his purpose. God manifests his power and presence in order to fulfill his purposes, which cannot be thwarted. Now, look with me at verse 17. It says, and take in your hand the staff with which you shall do the signs. The staff of Moses now symbolizes God's presence and power that goes with Moses wherever he goes. It's a tool of protection and shepherding, and now it signifies that Moses has been sent on a mission by God to deliver Israel from the grasp of Pharaoh. Later on, it's actually called the staff of God in Exodus 4:20. What does that say to us? It says, Moses, I'm sending you with a stick, not an army, not a large group of trained mercenary fighters, but I'm sending you with a stick. How much more can I do with a willing servant? This staff symbolizes God's authority, his supremacy, and his presence. God's power and presence is with you. Now, Moses and his staff point to the need for a better deliverer. We've already touched on, Moses doesn't ultimately get into the promised land. And yet Moses in Deuteronomy 18 says, Deuteronomy 18:18, he says, I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. Jesus Christ is that prophet that was prophesied in Deuteronomy 18:18. And yet, unlike Moses, who came to deliver his people from enslavement and captivity to sin and bondage to death, there is just no comparison between Jesus and Moses. Moses flees in fear from the serpent, but Jesus crushes the head of the serpent. Moses turns water to blood as a sign, but Jesus, hanging on the cross, pours out water and blood from his own body to bring about forgiveness of sins. Moses runs from God's call, but Jesus embraces God's mission to go all the way to Calvary and to die on a cross. Moses resists confronting a cruel dictator, but Jesus takes on the cruelest dictator that our world has ever seen. Satan, death, and sin itself are destroyed. Moses fears the unbelief of the people, but Jesus lays down his life for us while we were yet sinners. Moses struggles to speak for God, but Jesus comes as the very living and incarnate Word of God himself. Moses rejects God's call, but Jesus says in his darkest moment, not my will, but yours be done. Moses says, please send somebody else. But Jesus sees the people, has compassion on them because they are like sheep without a shepherd. And so not only do we have a better deliverer and a better example in Jesus, but we have God's power and presence at work within us now in the person of Jesus. So in the midst of all the callings that the Lord has upon your life, I don't know what he's going to do in all of your various lives, but I imagine that some of you will serve overseas, some of you will be called into difficult places, into various types of ministry, and how do we deal with the inadequacies and doubts and failures and the baggage that we carry around? How do we deal with that? We lay it ultimately at the foot of the cross, and we see that we have God's power and presence with us. God always gives his servants what they need in order to accomplish what he calls them to. God never shortchanges his children. And so whatever he calls you to, he's going to supply what you need in order to accomplish that work. The same thing with Moses. Moses thought he was going only with a stick, and he was going in to confront the greatest ruler on the face of the earth at that time with the Lord of heaven and earth on his side. And the hardness of heart that Pharaoh and all of Egypt showed only further displayed more opportunities for God to display how great he was, more and more of his power, more and more of his sovereign work poured out so that the world would say, this is God, so that the world would stand back in awe of who God is. And in that same way, that's what God wants to do with Christians. Though we may be weak, though we may not be the wisest, the best looking, the most accomplished, the richest people in the world, he uses the despised things of the world in order to accomplish his greatest work. And those are the words for us to live by, that God displays his perfect power in our weaknesses in order to accomplish his glorious purposes. And so the Lord says to you, in the midst of all of your inadequacies and weaknesses and fears, he commissions you and sends you out with his power and presence. And he says, why would you doubt? Why would you fear? Why would you be anxious? Why would you look and doubt your own abilities? Why would you question the experiences in your past? Why would you continue to carry around the sins that I've forgiven? Who made you? Is it not I, the Lord? Is it not I who has made you, who has redeemed you, who has saved you, who has sent Jesus in order to die on the cross for you, redeeming you? While you were yet sinners, Christ died for us. While we were enemies, he died for us so that he could make you an emblem of grace and then send you out as a vessel of his mercy. And so do not fear, do not be anxious, do not worry. Who made you? Is it not I, the Lord? Let's pray. Father, we want that truth to ring deep into our souls so that whatever inadequacies, whatever fears we experience, whatever we're wrestling with, that we would see the beauty and the majesty and the glory of the Lord Jesus Christ and walk by faith, knowing that your presence and power goes with us. So we pray that in Jesus' name. Amen.